Welcome to The Road in Between. We are here at Glass Inc. with Robert Smith's company, and Robert is one of the sponsors for Road in Between. And we're going to be going duck hunting for the very first time. Robert's taking us out. Going to be with Tony Boutwell, Alan Burford of our production staff, and we're going to try and go into the outdoors and into the waters and experience what takes place on the Mississippi Delta. I've got here a Glass Inc. duck call, and Robert's going to be able to call those ducks in. And it reminds me of exactly how God does the same for us. He calls us in. He knows the different calls that will attract us to Him. What is the call that God's directing in your direction so that He might bring you closer to Him and closer into ministry and mission?
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.
The Road in Between with Tom Sykes is sponsored by John O'Neill Johnson Toyota, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Glass Incorporated, Benefits Management Group.
Here at Road in Between, but actually we're on the waters right here in the Mississippi Delta, and we are between two cypress trees, and this is home for this morning. And I've got some great friends with me. I've got Robert Smith with Glass Inc. and his brother Greg and their friend Tommy Lovelace, and it's good to be with you fellas.
Glad to be with you, brother. Yeah. Glad to have you on your first duck hunting trip.
Thank you so much.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun.
Good duck hunting.
Been a good morning. So tell us where we are right now.
You're right in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. We're in duck hunting heaven over here. Mississippi Delta is, it's right in the heart of the Mississippi Flyway. And the Mississippi Flyway, of course, is where the migration of ducks that move down through the central part of the country when they leave Canada. That's the Mississippi Flyway. They kind of follow the Mississippi River. Okay. And of course, the Mississippi River has all these little tributaries that run into it, like the Yazoo River that we crossed yesterday, and the Tallahatchie River, and all those other rivers. And they wind out through this cropland, and that's why the ducks follow that as they're coming from north to south. It's just because it's water and it's food for them and that type thing.
Right, a lot of fields out here.
A lot of fields. We're in a break right now, an old cypress and tupelo gum break, but we're surrounded by fields. We've got a big rice field, probably 1,000 yards behind us, and out in front of us we've got a big bean field out here. So there's a lot that ducks have to eat in the area.
It looks like nowhere, but it's actually an incredible flyway, like you were saying.
Yeah, it is. And it's always been good, unless you've ever experienced hunting in the Delta. It's really like nowhere else. We do hunt other places. We go to Arkansas and hunt sometimes, and you hunt out in rice fields. And that's fun hunting, and you see a lot of ducks out there, but to get them in close, and like we have this morning, into these trees, it's nice, it's fun, and fun to watch them.
That's good. Now I know, as brothers, y'all grew up hunting. Tell us about that.
We did. Our daddy started us hunting. We were about 9 or 10, so we've been hunting for about 50 years now. And it's just something we get together every year to do. My daddy's 83, and we got to hunt with him all those years. And he's actually hunted, once with us this year. And it's been a lot of fun having your family and, your friends with you. And it's just been a great deal for us.
The good thing about it is you don't have to be quiet, so you can bring kids. You know, we'll bring, especially in this blind right here, you can bring a 5-year-old kid as long as it's not too cold for him, and he can be out here and enjoy it. And that's kind of what we do. That's kind of how we teach gun safety to our kids and stuff, and now our grandkids. Yeah. And we'll start them off with a BB gun, and as you see our guns, and we've been talking about keeping them safe here this morning, well, we do the same thing with their BB guns.
All right.
You know, so that's how you kind of teach them, you know, how to handle a gun in a blind and around people and that type of thing. But you start with a BB gun, it might sting you, but it ain't gonna kill you, you know. So, but it is fun to bring the kids out here and see them experience this just like y'all are for the first time this morning, and getting to see the ducks and how they react when you call them and how they cup their wings and drop into the decoys and all that. It's a neat.
Y'all are good at calling them in. All right, what are some of the ducks that you shoot up here?
Well, of course, growing up, the big duck and the one we still like to kill is the mallard. You know, a greenhead mallard is still a trophy to kill. But we do kill mallards. We kill a lot of gadwalls now. You kill teal. We've killed teal this morning. You kill ringnecks, pintail, widgeons, and geese. You know, we've seen a lot of geese this morning, and we hadn't had any come, you know, near us this morning because we're not goose hunting. But you do kill speckled bellies and snow geese and occasional Canadian goose that come through here, and so that's a lot of fun. And we'll probably see a lot of geese on the way out. They're kind of rafting up in the fields over here, and we'll probably see them. But anyway, duck hunting is just a great sport. It is. I call it's a social sport. You know, you can sit in the blind, and it's just like us being out on a golf course, you know, and sitting on a tee box talking and telling jokes, you know, waiting to hit the next shot. Well, that's kind of what we're doing right now. Right. We're just sitting here waiting on the next group of ducks to come close, and when they do, we're going to jump up. We're going to quit this interview, and we're going to jump up and shoot. And we're still first and foremost duck hunting.
Well, exactly. Well, we are grateful that you've invited us out here. Y'all are old pros at all this, and you welcome a beginner. And Tony on the camera and Alan on audio here, we thank you for including us. For a beginner, give us a 101 duck hunting of kind of what kind of gear you need and kind of some tips.
Well, unlike Tommy, I like to shoot a gun that actually can kill a duck.
Tommy, don't put up with
that gun. That gun he's been shooting, it just misses terribly. And
everything I shot at hit the water.
I think he had some bad shells this morning.
All right, let's look at this gun right here, Greg.
This gun is a 12 gauge. You know, most people hunt with 12 gauges because it kills a duck a little bit better than a 20. And you start your kids off shooting 20 gauges, you know. And
the reason for that is why?
Just because it doesn't kick as bad, and they can handle the gun. It's a smaller gun, they can handle it a little bit better. But once you get grown, most people are shooting 12 gauges because it kills the duck a little bit better. And of course, this is an automatic, and we grew up shooting pumps like what you're shooting this morning, and you don't have as near the trouble out of that pump gun as you'll have out of this one. Ours been jamming this morning. It gets caught up from time to time, but.
All right, what kind of shot and size shells
Well, right now, all of our guns that shoot 3-inch or 3.5-inch Magnum shells, and you kind of have to shoot at least 3-inch now with a steel shot. You know, when we were growing up, you could shoot lead shot, and you could kill a duck out there 50 yards with a lead shot shell easily.
What's the difference, and why did they go to steel?
Well, it's some of that political stuff, Tom, where somebody had a bright idea that said, you know, those ducks could swim down to the bottom and eat some of that lead, might get lead poisoning. You know. Yep. And really, that's the reason that they did that. And they changed it to steel shot. And of course, steel shot, when it first came out, you couldn't kill a duck with steel shot. It was too light. It was a lot lighter than lead. And when it came out of the barrel, it spread out so far. Unless the duck was real close to you, you couldn't kill it. But they started improving the shells, and now they set up a 2 3/4-inch shell. Like we used to shoot, we shoot either a 3-inch or a 3.5, and the 3-inch is usually fine for what we do. Yeah. And it has enough knockdown power where you can still kill a duck out there fairly far. But as you can see, it cripples some, and then we had to shoot them on the water this morning. After we knocked them down.
And the name of this place is what?
Ellison Break.
Ellison Break.
200 acres.
About a 200 acre, and it's a cypress and tupelo gum break, and it's just like 1,000 other breaks along the Mississippi River. And a break is really just an old ox bow from a river or a tributary or something that all eventually would get back to the Mississippi River. And that over time, it just separated out and kind of became more like a lake than like a part of a river, you know. and but there are thousands of them in the Mississippi Delta, in the Louisiana and Arkansas Delta, and this is just another one, and ducks love it. And it's a good place to come. It's a good place to hide under these cypress trees, and it's pretty. And
Very good. Well, we thank you. Let's get back to hunting.
all right, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around. The Road in Between will be right back.
Hello, I'm Neil Johnson with John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company. We offer Toyota, we offer Hyundai, BMW, and Mazda.
You can take them beyond the road and go out and have an adventure. You can go hunting, you can go fishing, kayaking, bicycling, take them all out on the road in between.
Some of the great ones for that, Tom, are the Toyota Tundra, Toyota Tacoma, Toyota 4Runner, Land Cruiser is another good one, the Toyota Sequoia. They're great for the outdoors.
You come by and see them.
John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company, a name you can trust, products you can depend on.
We're back with The Road in Between with Tom Sykes.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
Today I want to be talking about the tracks of life. And here you have two tracks. And at a distinct point along the way, you get to decide if you want to stay on that track you're on or if you want to go to another track. There's a story in the Bible about 3 crosses on a hill. The first cross had a criminal who had done incredibly bad things, and he's being put to death. But he realized that he had messed up, and he turned to the one at the middle cross and he said, Jesus, would you remember me when you enter into your kingdom? The other cross next to Jesus was another criminal, and he never changed. And instead of him confessing Jesus as Lord, he cursed Jesus as a man. Which track are you on in your relationship with him? You know, Jesus died on the cross. He received a spike just like this, and it went into his very wrists and his feet. And the Romans tried to hold him onto that wood, but what held him onto that wood was his deep love for us. You know, he died on the cross not only for the one who confessed him, but he died on the cross for the one who cursed him. It's the story of grace. Where are you in relationship with God? It is the ultimate in-between, and I see Jesus as the one who stands there at the cross and says, I am your Lord. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on The Road in Between. We are on tonight on the greatest porch in the Delta of Mississippi, and we are with the Smith family, with Mr. Smith. He is the daddy-o, he is the patriarch, and you're with your 2 boys here.
Yes,
you're
indeed.
with Robert and you're with Greg, and you're flanked, and you are right between your 2 boys on the road in between.
That's great.
You're in a good spot, and thank you for letting us be with you all tonight.
We're glad to have you here, Tom.
We certainly are.
Well, thank you. Tell me what you got in your hand there, Mr. Smith.
This is a horn that my grandfather, who was a dentist here in Greenwood, made back in 1904. He carved it, the thing, with his dental tools out of a cow horn. But anyway, they call it a deer horn. But what it's used for is to call the dogs back to the camp after they do the drive in the morning. But anyway, with his tools, dental tools, he carved. There's an old-timey hunting expression called a big coon walks for daylight. Well, there's the big coon walking the log before daylight. And then here's the dogs chasing the deer. And then right here is the fox. Is the dogs chasing the fox. And then here's a deer rutting. Is that the word?
Rut.
Yeah, rutting. And then this right here is a bobcat. But he carved all of this with his dental tools, and it's been a family heirloom ever since. It was passed down to my aunt, and she passed it down to me, and then I passed it down to the 2 boys.
That's right.
And it's been
And what about the
down
gold?
to who?
It's passed down to me.
Oh, it's passed down to me.
We want to get
It's
that
passed down to
straight.
you. It's passed
We
down
want
to
get that
me.
straight for, you know.
Well, it
while
was
we're on
passed
film.
down to the camp.
Okay. All right.
No, Greg brought it to the
No,
camp.
he did.
Oh, no, what about the gold that's on there?
That came from his patients that he took out of his patients and inlaid it. There's his name, Dr. Frank H. Smith, in 1904, and that's inlaid with gold.
Let's see that, if you don't mind.
But Granddaddy Smith, well, he was a big outdoorsman.
Yes, he was a
wasn't
great outdoorsman. He loved to fish and hunt, and he had 4 boys that loved it. And in fact, my daddy used to say the reason I didn't grow up hunting with my daddy because he said his daddy made him paddle him around Mossy Lake all day long. It wore him out on fishing. But
Hey, they say he invented the trolling motor because he had him a wooden John boat, and he loved to fish, and he had him a big chair sitting right in the middle of it, and he had somebody work for him on the front sculling it, and he was sculling around the lake. He said, "Now take me over by that stump, and take me over by that stump." You know, just like a trolling motor.
Absolutely. Well, I see that you got this sign right here that represents what you're all about.
Faith, family, and ducks. Yeah, my wife actually made that. We saw that somewhere, and it kind of fit, you know, what we're all about. You know, that's kind of what the order we try to keep it in, the faith, family, and ducks. We don't always keep it in that order, but we try to, Tom. You know, and that's just that's kind of what Daddy's kind of handed down for us. You know, your faith is first and foremost, and of course family. I mean, that's just a big deal for us. You know,
And then ducks are right behind me.
ducks is a close third.
I can see that now.
I understand that, but anyway.
That's
But
good.
we've really been blessed. I've been blessed to have 2 boys that love it, the outdoors and hunting and fishing as much as I do. And some of the most pleasurable hours I've ever spent in my life have been in a duck boat, on a dove field, or hunting of some sort with them. And now with my grandchildren.
And now with your great-grandchildren.
Grandchildren, right.
We've been on a
got-
hunt here in this past year where we had Daddy in the blind, and me in the blind, and Greg was in there too, and then I had my son Rob in the blind, and he had his daughter in the blind. So we had 4 generations in the duck blind all at the same
How
time.
about that?
You know, and we still do that. And Daddy's 83 years old, and he's still duck hunting. He duck hunted this year, and so that's one thing we like about duck hunting. And like I told you earlier, it's kind of like golf. It's something you can do, you know, with your family later in life. And we've enjoyed doing that, and we enjoyed having the camp to come to down here to do all this, and sitting by the fire. This is one of our best hunting spots. Is right here on this front porch. You know.
Well, tell me about your mother. Tell me about your wife and what she
I
did
had
to you.
44 wonderful years with their mother, and she contracted cancer and lasted about a year. Died in 2002, and but she was the happiest of all of us when we started the deer camp, because it got us out of the.
Because up until that point, our hunting camp was at the house.
Okay.
We'd stay up late and then get up early, and then we'd come back and
Make a
she
mess,
was-
come
she
in
said,
with
"I
muddy
never-"
boots and all into the house. But she did like us getting to camp and
What was she like? What was her character traits?
She was just a super lady. She really was. And we had 44 wonderful years together.
We were duck hunting one time. Me and Daddy and Mama were duck hunting one morning. We were up there at Tippo. Remember Tippo Clubhouse?
Yeah.
We were hunting. And she reached up and shot a duck right straight up over us. And the duck fell down in the boat with us. You remember that, Daddy?
Fell into the boat.
And she killed the first duck, the only duck I don't think she's ever killed, but it fell right down in the boat with us. And it was awesome. We
Killed her
told
with
that
that little
story.
20 gauge automatic.
Yeah.
How about that?
she would go hunting on occasion, but not duck hunting so much, you know. But she'd like to fish, and she'd go fishing on occasion. And she'd be in the back of the boat, kind of sunny back there, and Daddy'd be up there fishing hard. Mama would be catching all the big fish, and she'd just be dragging her pole behind the boat. In fact, she caught a crappie about that big one time.
Just letting it-
did she, Daddy?
3
Just dragging the
pounds.
pole behind the boat while Daddy's up there fishing hard and paddling. And
I just knew she was hung up.
She had a landing up there at 7 Pines Lake where we all fished, named after her. She
Yeah.
was,
Patricia's land.
yeah, Patricia.
She and I were, when I say fishing late one afternoon, and when we were coming out, I got almost to the landing. I said, "I'm going to pull you up to the bank. You think you could back that trailer back down in the water where I just run the boat up on the trail? She said, sure. Brand new Impala Chevrolet. Had less than 1,000 miles on it.
And Daddy's out in the boat now.
Yeah.
While she's backing down going, come on back, come on back. And then he went, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
It went slap on the water.
Went all the way under. So Daddy takes off. When Mama got out, and he takes off, runs across the lake in the boat to get a man with 4-wheel drive. And said when he got back, wasn't nothing but the antenna sticking out of the water. He totaled that car too.
Yeah,
It hell had 1,000 miles on it.
the guy that developed the area out there built a sign on his own and called it Patricia's Landing. And the last I saw it was still down there.
That's great. Oh,
But we do miss her. We miss her a lot. We talk about her a lot. Cause everybody, she was close to me and Greg, and of course Daddy, of course, and but then all the grandkids, love you, as you know, because you're going to marry my daughter. I got a daughter that's getting married, and
Right.
she's wanting to get married here in Greenwood, and it's primarily because she just had a love for the Delta, and because she loved my grandmother, and she was close to her.
Right.
So that's kind of the reason she was wanting to have it here. So.
Absolutely. Well, part of your makes your family so special to me is your sincerity. We meet all kinds of people, and there's just not enough sincere people. Now, you're not working at that to be sincere. It just flows off of you. And I attribute a lot of that to you, Bobby.
Well, thank you, Tom.
You carry that on, and it's all up in your sons and your grandkids, great grandkids. And I tell you, that draws us in. But you're a real open and welcoming family, and you've really made an impact on a lot of people.
Well, just nothing means any more to us than family.
Yeah, and family is extended.
Right?
Yeah.
You treat us like
Right, you're part of the family.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, and it's real, and it's no pretense to it, and it means the world to us to be included in this special little place. We're getting ready to go eat some really good food that you
We're going to have duck wrapped in bacon with Bobby sauce on it.
Bobby sauce. Now, what's the Bobby sauce?
Bobby sauce. It's
World
just something I came up with. Anyway, you start with a stick of butter and a lemon. And then you add a little soy sauce and a little teriyaki and a little Lee and Perry and some lemon juice until you just keep adding until you get it just right. And then you baste the ducks with it while it's cooking. And they all, when they cook ducks, they all ask us, you gonna do with the Bobby sauce?
There you go. Well, these ducks we shot today.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
fresh.
We shot today.
How'd you like your first duck hunt, Tom?
Hey, let me tell you what, I'm hooked. I loved it.
It
Thank
was
you.
exhilarating, wasn't it?
Woo! It was a rush, adrenaline.
It was
And
really fun for us to
what
watch
do you call
you.
it? Cupping? They
Yeah,
cup.
when they cup.
They cup. They're coming down like that. Whew. I was intimidated. I got to tell you, I was intimidated. I was nervous.
Is that why when we said take him, it was like,
They never would shoot. He just.
it was the trigger.
Okay.
I had the safety on, and yeah. But hey, I thank you for including this tenderfoot into the weekend with y'all. We're grateful. Let's go eat. Before we do, let's have a prayer. Okay?
Great.
Stick around. The Road in Between will be right back.
Award-winning, quality, experience. Glass Incorporated's expert team can handle single window panes to entire high-rise buildings. Whether you need storefronts, glass replacement, mirrors, or shower enclosures, no job is too big or too small. Glass Incorporated, your commercial and residential glass experts. Locations in Meridian, Foley, Alabama, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
In today's world where most businesses and corporations' main mission is to simply make profit, CRM Companies differs itself by focusing on being successful in a way that also promotes growth and prosperity in the community. CRM Companies isn't simply a commercial development and management company. They create opportunities, they create jobs, they maximize the potential for growth and development of a better community, all while still providing great services and outstanding customer relations. Learn more about CRM Companies and their mission today. Visit crmco.com. We're back with The Road in Between with Tom Sykes.
sometimes the answer isn't as simple as we would like it to be. Hi, I'm Ben Mathis for Rivers of the World, and I want to talk about jungles and forest and deforestation and reforestation, because these are terms that you're going to hear. Places like the Amazon are being leveled every day. One estimate is 20 square miles a day of jungle is being cut out. And we sit in North America in our high-rise apartment buildings next to the golf course, which is right down from the paved roads, and that leads into the suburbs with all those houses where at one time there were trees, and we cut all those out and nobody said anything because we were building homes and businesses. And yet you're going to hear people have issues with the idea that 20 square miles of the jungle in the Amazon are being cut out every day. Let me say this gently. I think that for us, it's easy to sit in North America and try to decide what people somewhere else in the world should and should not do. Of course it is. Have you thought that maybe people in those countries cut out some of the jungle so that they can grow food like this orange, and that's the difference in their surviving or not? So it becomes an issue that's not just one-sided. It isn't either cut out the jungle or don't. It's finding a way to survive, honor God's earth, look after the forest, and realize the reality that we have to produce food for ourselves and for the animals of this world. And at the same time, we have to honor the beauty and the primitive nature of the jungle. So I wish I could say, here's the answer to this issue, but you can't always do that. What I can say is that God calls us to honor each other and to honor the earth that He's created and given to us as a treasure. Each decision we make impacts the lives not only of our families, but of people all over the world. With things like this, I say pray. Pray, give thanks for food, and continue to realize it's okay that there's not a black and white answer. It's perfectly fine to continue to struggle with how we balance a need for accountable, sustainable ecology and how we also account for our ability to feed each other. There's no easy answer. I invite you to continue this dialogue.
Well, Robert, I want to thank you for letting us be part of this wonderful place for you. This is the second home for you.
It is, and Tom, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you very much, and you're a great sponsor for us on the Road in Between. And up here, first time up to Greenwood in a long time, and you told me to go 5 miles down the road and take a left, and you'll go on a dirt road, and 4.2 miles, you'll be underneath the what I call pecans, the pecan grove or orchard, and that's where we found a lot of love up in here. So we're grateful. I send you out with a calling, and what is the calling that you might have for your life? Everybody's got a calling, and if you listen into that small, thin voice, God might be whispering to you today. The good news is that God keeps calling us over and over again, and when we wander or when we stray, God tries again for us. So the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you this day and forevermore. Thank you for being part of the Road in Between. We'll see you next time.
The Road in Between would also like to thank these fine sponsors. Closed captioning is brought to you by BMG, Benefits Management Group.
I'm on my way. I can't wait to see the brighter day. I'm on my way. I can't wait to see the brighter day. I can't wait to see the brighter day.